In the heart of Southeast Asia, amidst the sprawling jungles of Cambodia, lie the ruins of a once mighty empire. And within these ruins, etched in stone and spirit, is the story of a king who turned chaos into compassion, a leader who rebuilt a fallen kingdom into a marvel of the ancient world. This is the story of Jayavarman VII. He was born in the mid-12th century, a time when the great Khmer Empire was beginning to crack. The royal court was a web of rivalries, and enemies circled the borders like predators. As a young prince, Jayavarman was quiet and observant, a scholar of sacred texts and military strategy. He possessed a rare combination of wisdom and fire, but destiny had a brutal lesson in store for him. Before he could ascend to the throne, his world would be set ablaze. In the year 1177, disaster struck. The rival Champa kingdom launched a surprise naval invasion. Their fleet sailed up the Mekong River, reaching the heart of the empire, the grand capital of Angkor. The attack was swift and merciless. Temples burned, the city was sacked, and the king was killed. The Khmer Empire, once the jewel of the region, had fallen. Jayavarman, who was away from the capital at the time, received the devastating news. Many would have fled, but he did not. Instead, he returned to the ruins of his homeland with a single, unshakable purpose: to take it back. He began a long and arduous journey to liberate his people. For years, Jayavarman moved through the countryside, a prince without a throne, gathering an army of loyal nobles, fierce warriors, and ordinary farmers who refused to see their culture erased. He fought with tactical genius, using his intimate knowledge of the jungle terrain, the winding rivers, and the monsoon seasons, to outmaneuver the occupiers. He was more than just a commander. He was a symbol of hope. People saw in him not just a path to victory, but a vision for a renewed and unified Khmer kingdom. Finally, in 1181, after years of relentless warfare, Jayavarman's forces drove the Cham from Angkor. The city rejoiced. A new era dawned, and the prince who had risen from the ashes was crowned King Jayavarman VII. But his victory on the battlefield was only the beginning. What truly defined his reign was not his military might, but his profound sense of compassion. He embraced a new philosophy for a ruler, one rooted in Mahayana Buddhism. Inscriptions from his time declare that a king's duty is to feel the suffering of his subjects as his own. He believed his purpose was to heal his wounded nation, and so, he embarked on one of the most ambitious public works programs the world had ever seen. He started with the very arteries of the empire. He constructed a vast network of roads connecting the most remote provinces to the capital. Along these new highways, he built over 100 rest houses, or dharmasalas, providing food, shelter, and safety for travelers, merchants, and pilgrims. But his most revolutionary project was a network of 102 hospitals established throughout the kingdom. This was, in essence, one of the earliest organized public healthcare systems in history, ensuring that care was available to all, from the highest noble to the poorest farmer. For Jayavarman, rebuilding the empire wasn't about stone and power. It was about serving and healing his people. With the kingdom stabilized and its people cared for, Jayavarman turned his attention to the heavens. He initiated a building campaign that would produce some of the most breathtaking temples ever created. He began by rebuilding the capital itself, creating the magnificent walled city of Angkor Thom. At its very center, he constructed his state temple, the enigmatic Bayon. Its towers are adorned with hundreds of colossal, serene stone faces, gazing out in all four directions. To this day, scholars debate their meaning. Are they the face of Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion? Or are they the face of the king himself, a divine ruler watching over his kingdom with a gentle, all-knowing gaze? His devotion extended to his family. In honor of his mother, he built the temple of Prohm, a magical sanctuary intentionally left to be embraced by the jungle. The giant silk cotton tree roots that now snake through its corridors create an atmosphere of timeless beauty, a monument where nature and architecture become one. For his father, he raised the temple of Preah, a sprawling complex that served as both a religious center and a great university. These were not just buildings. They were physical manifestations of his spiritual beliefs, message that wisdom, compassion, and devotion could forge a nation's destiny. In his final years, Jayavarman VII continued to rule with the same intensity that had defined his life. He expanded the empire's borders to their greatest extent and defended his kingdom fiercely. But his revolutionary ideas and his devotion to a new form of Buddhism created friction with the old guard. When he eventually passed away, the empire mourned a leader who had given them more than just victory. He had given them an identity. he left behind a legacy that transcended stone. It was a philosophy that the true measure of a ruler is not the power they wield, but the suffering they alleviate. Today, the silent faces of Bayon continue to watch over the land, eternal guardians of his memory. They stand as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, one leader, guided by compassion, can not only rebuild a civilization, but elevate its very soul. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of the Khmer Empire, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories from our incredible world history. See you next time.